Hello, hello, friends. Thank you for joining. I look forward to having a dialogue with you and answer your questions. I acknowledge that I was not with you this Thursday or Friday as I planned to, but I am excited that I was able to join you today. Hearts to you as well. Good to see you. And if you have any questions in regards to your relationship with your children, husband or wife, relatives, parents, your health, or any struggles that you're dealing in life, I would love to answer and talk to you. So please join and let's have a dialogue. And I want to thank you. Good to see you. I want to thank you for being on Sunday, unexpectedly last minute with me and really diving into your life, into your emotional, physical, or spiritual health and growing. That's why we're here. Really emotionally grow, overcome our traumas, our triggers, our breakdowns in life. So let's have a dialogue. So if you have any questions, I would love to answer. So start thinking about really authentically in your heart what's happening with you. And thank you for the compliment. I appreciate it. I just got this dress yesterday, so I'm like, oh, I'm gonna wear it today. So, my friends, start thinking about what are you dealing with in life? Where are you struggling? And I'll be answering questions from psychological realm and spiritual realm. So, with that said, who are wanna go first? Who is the brave one? Would love to see what you are dealing with and where you need help in your life. So, hello, hello, my friends. And if you want to share also where you're from, so we can get the feeling how many countries are here, because when I look back, I always see United States, Canada, um, you are. Yes, South Africa. I see Netherlands. I see Italy. I see so many different countries. And also, I'm also on the YouTube live today. So, friends, thank you for joining me. I have a TikTok and YouTube live. So, if you have any questions, my friends, please ask me. And I would love, love, love to answer you. Oh, someone already asked me a question on YouTube. Hi, Lisa. I met a man at the conference recently and we connected. However, he lives outside the US. My friend, I shared that many times and I'll share it again, that I truly don't believe in long distance. Why? Because long distance creates, it's kind of a fantasy that the relationship between you and somebody who is, let's say, in Latin America can really be together, because traveling is expensive. How many people are really will be willing to see you on the weekly basis and traveling every weekend? And even if he will, and even if you will travel every weekend, you will have a weekend getaway, little honeymoon. But in the reality, the long distance still creates this lots of tension where you are not dating person in his hometown and seeing his family, seeing his friends, how is he really talking to them, how is he behaving. It's like a good fantasy. So my request always, if you really want to make a long distance work, you either have to relocate or he has to relocate. And how many people are really willing to relocate? That's difficult. And so if you don't even know a guy, and let's say you move to Latin America, you don't know Spanish, you don't know his culture, it makes things very complicated. And so that's why I always say, if you can, date with people in your own hometown, in your country at least. And better, someone who is 30, 40, 50 miles away. So it's realistically to, you can travel together or to each other. And that's why my recommendation be, let me see, you're saying something. I'm based in New York, right? Agreed. I feel euphoric and like a fantasy. Thank you. You're welcome. Yeah, meet a man in New York City and then I wish you luck. Long distance, it's too tough. 9 out of 10, it doesn't work out. And the 10 is the people who are really doing Skype every day and spend 1 hour talking, drinking wine, or talking about every day. But in the reality, it's so difficult. I see very, very few people who make it work long distance wise. So, more questions. Do I support IGBTQ? This is a very controversial question, my friends, and I really help people in the realm of man and woman. This is where my expertise is. I am not an expert in relationship between man and woman. So I apologize. I wish you happiness, but I am not expert in that area. I think you should find a therapist or a person who is really knowledgeable in that area. But thank you for asking. All right, what advice do you have for teenage daughters? Actually, I've been talking to a few of my girlfriends who are struggling with their teenage daughters. And so I'm glad you're asking this question. That's why I recorded a video a few days ago about it. And so it's also, of course, depends, but usually teenage daughters between age 13 and 18, what they're dealing with. When parents don't spend a good quality time with kids who are 0 to 5, 5 to 14, bonding with them, talking to them authentically, teaching them life. Because what happens 0 to 5? Moms are busy, dads are busy. And so typically moms put them in a daycare and they don't have a real bonding with the child. And so the child suppresses all of the emotions of pain, hurt, mm, loneliness, sadness, and all of those problems between 0 to 5 starts to show up in the teenage years, especially with daughters. When they start to rebel, they want to wear promiscuous clothes. They want to wear a lot of makeup. They want to date a lot of boys. They listen to promiscuous music and movies, and typically parents have no control. And the reason why, again, and moms do not like to hear that, is because the bonding between 0 and 5 did not happen. Kids were either with grandparents or at daycare or somewhere, but not with moms. And 5 to 14, usually, again, kids are in the schools, they're having all kinds of problems, but moms who are working cannot see what the daughters are dealing with. And daughters have a hard time to really express. Are they anxious? Are they stressed? Are they unhappy in school with boys, with girls? And so when they become teenagers, all of those problems that have been accumulated from 0 to 13 to 14 starts to come out. And then parents are like, okay, Alisa, please fix my teenager. Or parents come and give to psychologists, fix my daughter because she doesn't listen. And it's with boys and girls. And then it's too late, my friends. That's why please listen to my lecture about how to raise kids 0 to 5, 5 to 14, and 14 and up. Because at age 13 and 14, you got to start shifting, becoming not a mom to your teenager, but a friend. And the good example that I have for you guys, I remember one of my clients came and he said, Alisa, what can I do with my 14-year-old teenager? He was a boy. And the boy was smoking weed. And they would find weed everywhere in their bedroom, in his bedroom. And I said, first of all, you're violating your son by going into his room and looking for weed. Instead of that, go and smoke the weed with your son. It's like, what are you talking about, Alisa? It's illegal. I say, what's more important, to understand your son, what he's dealing with, or that he's smoking weed? Because he's smoking weed because something is not working. So dad was shocked, mom was shocked, they were angry at me, frustrated with me, but obviously I talked them into it. 2 weeks later, dad decided to sit down with his son and smoke weed. He smoked once, he smoked 2, 3 times. On the fourth time, son started saying, kids in school, in his class, were bullying him. And he felt like a nerd, he felt like he's a loser, and nobody liked him in class. And this been going on for 3 years. And so for 3 years, parents did not even know that they were dealing with that. So my friends, instead of battling your children and telling them, don't do this, don't do that, get in their world and understand what they're dealing with. And I promise you, if you stop being a parent at this age but become a friend, they open up. That's why teenagers listen to their friends and YouTube channels and everybody, but not parents, because parents still trying to be critical and controlling them and use authority, but it's too late. So that's why listen to my lecture, How to Raise Kids, on my YouTube channel. It's a 2.5 hour lecture, but you'll get so much out of it, how to raise kids. So I hope that I answered that question. And somebody put me like, I appreciate that. And let's see what other questions you have, my friends. Okay, breaking up after 21J. I do not understand what that means. 21J, you gotta help me out. Oh, Germany's here, Seattle, Poland. You see how many countries we have. Fabulous. Awesome. Welcome to have you on my channel. What? Let's see. Been there when they finally relocated, you realize you didn't even know them. Yes, my friends, when it goes back to long distance relationship, when you relocate, you understand that you're dating completely different person and not the fantasy in your life, in your head that you were expecting. So true. I have been putting what you say to practice, and my marriage is so much better. Thank you. No, thank you, because you're not just listening, you're actually taking action. And that means your soul is getting the knowledge and you're putting it into action. So I want to acknowledge you. And I'm so happy that your marriage is working. That's the best news I can get. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Let's see. Okay, thank you. So sad. I about lost my mind. Single mom. I stay poor to stay home. You think it's long? Okay, I see that English is not your first language like me, which is perfect, but I got your question. My friends, I'm going to give you tips right now, but I want to invite you to my lecture called How to Conquer Your Destiny in 4 weeks on July 23rd on Saturday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. And the $65 that you're going to pay actually going to go to refugees, Ukrainian refugees in Poland, and also feeding people in Ukraine who is in the war zone. I'm not keeping anything. I am okay. But if you cannot afford it, wait. I'm going to post it on YouTube, the long lecture. But obviously, when you go there, you feel the energy of the program, and you're going to start conquering your destiny. So now let me tell you a little bit how and what you can do. First of all, this is our soul. It's located in our around our heart. And around our soul we have a destiny. And the destiny is pushes us either in uh, helping us to go through examine life either with our kids, either with our parents or our husband or wife. The second level of the destiny, we're dealing with our health problems. And the third, it's typically with money or work where we feel poor and broke. But all of this, it's fixable. But how you can fix it? When you start either meditating, either doing the affirmations or prayer in the morning or evening or whenever you can, what happens when you're starting to connect to God, higher power, or universe, however you feel comfortable in your religion? Don't try to change your religion or faith, or maybe you just believe in universe. What happens? The sources starts to help you to overcome the pain of your destiny that pushes on your soul. We are born to pass the exam again with our kids, our relatives, or that we're broke. And when you start to work on yourself, you're starting to feel all of a sudden that no, you're not a victim. You're not resigned, sad, angry, depressed, or anxious. You're starting to feel the connection that the higher power or the universe starts to help you. And on the first level, when you start to conquering destiny, you feel that no, sooner or later it's gonna end, and you start to feel a little shift in your energy and in your victimness. On the second level, when you continue doing meditation or prayer or affirmation, you start to feel all of the problems starts to become less and less tense, and you're starting to feel lighter that no, you got an opportunity at work, or no, your husband stopped to drinking so much, or your kids start to rebel so much. You start to feel a shift of energy. On the third level, you start to feel that this is starting to end, and you feel the light at the end of the tunnel that is very close to you, and you start to gravitate people who are emotionally healthy. You finally found a good job, or your husband stopped drinking, or your kids started to listen to you, or all of a sudden you feel that you can stop working and fully trust your husband to provide and protect. It depends on what you're dealing with. And that's why we need to understand the law of the universe. We need to understand the spiritual sacred writings. But most of the people are fully relying on life. If I'm going to just get a good job, I'll be happy. If I'm going to get married with a man, I'll be happy. But this is all outside of you, and all of the material things and people that coming and going and job and money can change any moment. The happiness is it within you, but how you can be happy within you is when you're connecting to the source. And this is, my friends, are the most powerful source. Husband even can come and go, children grow up and leave you, jobs can change, your financial status can change, but the source is always there for you. And that's how you can conquer anything that you're dealing with. But in this 3 hours program that I will be leading in July, you're going to get all the details. That's why I would love for you to come if you can. If you're a single mom and if you can afford it, $25. Because again, it's not about money. I want to serve you and help you if you can do it, if you're ready for it. All right, next question. Um, oh, wow. I have so many comments now. I gotta get to where I was. I love all your advices, but what you just advised, it's so crazy. I understand. I understand that it's not for everybody because the spiritual knowledge is so deep, and very very few people, actually less than 5% people on the planet earth knows this knowledge, and only 1% practicing it. So I understand that it's maybe not for you and it's too advanced. Advice for men who won't commit. My friends, first of all, men know if they're gonna commit to you or if they won't commit to you in the first 2 to 3 weeks. Yeah, because if you met a guy and you slept with him on the first, second, third, fourth date, they're looking at you as a lover, and they don't have the respect that they conquered you. Even though right now whole society and even men say, I'm not going to invest 2 3 months into dating a woman. It's not true. If you're a high value woman that loves and respects herself, and the man feel that you're happy, you're confident, you are bringing something to his life and not just sex, because every man looks for a woman that trusts him, that trusts that he will conquer his destiny, that he will leave a legacy behind him. And if you're that kind of a woman, man will overcome his fear, because right now a lot of men are scared to commit because they look everywhere, feminist women who are career oriented, independent, success oriented. They don't know how to be mothers, they don't know how to appreciate men, and of course they're intimidated. They're like, why would I marry a woman who doesn't believe in me, who doesn't know how to love, who doesn't know how to appreciate me, who will not value that I'm bringing something into her life? And then, yeah, a man would not want to commit. And if he sees that something in you is so different, that you're gentle, you're kind, you're feminine, you believe in him, he would be interested to commit into that kind of woman. So work on you to becoming such a extraordinary, beautiful, loyal, feminine, kind woman that believes in him, and he would commit. But again, if you started a relationship where you slept with him on the first, second, or third week, 90% most likely this man not gonna commit to you because you started a relationship on a sexual foundation. And with that, he will never get to the point to fully falling in love with you and respecting you. And for a man, in order to fall in love, he needs to respect you. And how a man respect a woman when she doesn't give cherry very easily. So I know most of the women don't like to hear this, but it's true. It's old school, but this old school been going on for thousands of years, and we're still human beings. It still works. So I hope you can really not judge yourself, but take it as a test, as a good lesson in life. And maybe next time you can do better. But if again, you were not an easy woman that jumped in bed with him in the first, second, and third week, just work on yourself being a feminine. And your man gonna start shifting the way he looks at you. But typically, again, man knows if he is ready and he looks at you as a marriage material, and if he wants to commit. And again, you can talk to him gently and kindly. Do you think you see a future with me? Do you think we can ever get married and have children? And men are very honest. They'll tell you yes or no. And if they say no, they really mean no. Yes. He left me and I can't get over him. I chose not to contact him and I'm doing good until now. Uh-huh. He always on my mind and I can get over it. Yeah, when people go to break up, at some point after 3, 4 weeks, they start to remember only good things. Sorry, my friends. And they forget all the bad things. Give me 1 second. And so, what I would recommend for you to take a piece of paper and write all of the good things and all of the negative things that did not work in your relationship. And take these good things that you've done, burn it, and leave only the side of what he've done wrong and why you decided to leave him. And look at it every day. And then ask yourself, do I really want to be with this man? Let um, you remind what all of the bad things you've gone through, how he hurt you, why you decided to left him, and stop looking at him at social media, stop chasing him, take all of the pictures with him and put it away. You walked away because something did not work. But if you regret because he was a really good man and you've done something wrong, then work on healing yourself, on working on something that made you push him away, and start grieving through that you pushed away a good man. And if you clear all of that pain and hurt, possibly you can reunite with your man. But again, only you know whether you truly want to get back or not. So you gotta follow your heart. All right, I had a boyfriend for about 8 months, but he does nothing for me. And when I stop contact, he sends, and I don't know. Oh, he sends I had a boyfriend who does nothing for me, and when I stop contacting him, he sends me flowers. What should I do? Well, obviously, when you push him away, he misses you. He feels that something that he done wrong, and he doesn't want to lose you, and he sends you flowers. But pushing him away, um, it's about playing a games, honestly. And so you got to really decide, do you want to be with him or not? Because at some point when you're going to break up with him and push him away, he will walk away, because who wants to feel like you are unstable and then you can break up with him at any point? Nobody. And so you got to really follow your heart. If you want to be with him, stop playing games. And if you feel like he's not the one, then break up, but break up for good. Because otherwise, you're sending mixed messages. And I'm not about playing games in a relationship, I'm about authenticity. We have to be real with people. And would you want someone to break up with you every time you guys have a breakdown? No. And so if you take the flowers, that means you're getting the message that, yeah, I want to take him back. But you have to know, do you really want to be with him or not? Make a decision and stand by it. That's my recommendation. I'm not a mother yet. Does it make sense to not work and be a stay at home wife? That's a really good question. Honestly, my friends, what happens is a man has to be prepared to be a father years before he actually becomes a father. A mother should be prepared to be a mother years before she becomes a mother. What do I mean? For example, a man cannot just go and ask a woman to get married. He needs to be financially secure, and that means in his 20s he gets a degree, then he works, and he starts building his um, finances, so when he meets a woman he can buy a house, and then so a woman can marry and stay home with a child. And so the preparation starts years before. And so a woman, in order to attract emotionally healthy man, she gotta work part-time. But when she gets married, she doesn't need to work, because a man's supposed to protect her. And so if your husband can't protect you, absolutely do not work, because then you're preserving this energy of love, not only to yourself but to your husband and your future child, because this is the time when you can start learning how to become a better wife, how to become a better mother, when you're gonna have a child. All of that energy gonna go into learning, into most important knowledge, how to become a good wife and mother and a good woman, a good friend, a good daughter, and not into all of this work that you spend energy and you come home like a squeeze like lemon. No, we belong at home women where we're preserving our happiness and love for our family and not giving for 20, 50, or $100 to workplace here and there. So yes, my recommendation, stay home if your husband can afford it. And if he can't, then work part-time. The less, the more. That's my recommendation. How can you work on your feminine energy when you just got out of relationship where you were masculine? My friends, at any point when a woman decides, I want to work on my femininity, she can start doing that. How to do that? I say that in most of my spiritual videos, and I'll say that again, and you're probably tired to hear that. Wake up in the morning, at least 15, 20 minutes earlier, and start doing either affirmation, meditation, or a prayer. We can, at this point, because we're living in such a masculine, degraded world, and I mean, not only men are masculine because men are supposed to be masculine, but when a woman are masculine, they're degrading. It becomes very unhealthy balance. And so just hanging out with women, it's not enough. Just going out on the nature where you can also get feminine energy is not enough. We gotta do it through the spiritual journey. I've tried everything myself. Nothing worked until I started to do spiritual journey and becoming more and more spiritual. And then I started to shift from masculine to femininity. All again, watch my spiritual videos to learn how you can do early morning affirmations or prayer or meditation. And that is the fastest way for you to start shifting to femininity. Great question. All right. By the way, friends, please do not advise people on my TikTok or right now, because every time you advise someone a wrong suggestion, you are not just hurting yourself and them, you're taking on their karma on yourself. So whatever they're struggling with and you're giving them bad karma, you bad advice, you're taking on their karma. Their not relationship is not working. Now your relationship is not working. So please, my friends, don't tell, leave him or do this or do that. I do a lot of spiritual work and I feel like I have a permission now to give you the suggestion. But sometimes when I give suggestion and I feel bad about it, when I sleep, I'm like, oh, let me actually record video because something that I missed, because I'm very in tune and very responsible to everything that comes out of my mouth. And you guys just giving advice right here and left. Please don't do that. You can hurt yourself and your karma. Be responsible for your life. You see, yeah, do not do that. How do I forget my ex? Again, spiritual relationship to a higher power. When you connect to the source, you feel so fulfilled and full with love that you don't need a boyfriend or a girlfriend or somebody to make you happy. People are very emotionally empty, and that's why they're chasing, let me find a good man to get married, let me find a sexy, pretty girlfriend to have sex, or let me find a good job to make more money, or let me buy a better car. All of this is external happiness, is not gonna make you happy. So forgetting ex, getting a boyfriend, getting an ex back, all of this external happiness, it's an illusion. Work on doing meditation so you start feeling the whole internally happy within yourself. And then you would not need your ex back. You would not feel like you miss him anymore. You're going to start emotionally detaching from him, spiritually, physically. That's it. You're going to move on. And if he's the right man, he'll come back and it might work out. And if he's not, you're gonna move on and you're gonna attract another man and you're gonna possibly attract a much better man. And this was just a lesson to learn and move on. That's my advice to you. What is the source? According to you, what is the source? The source is God. But to some people who are not believing in God, they call it universe. Then universe it is. Whatever makes you feel comfortable. But if you think you can make yourself happy and you're just only relying on yourself, that I can work, be happy, I can meet a man and marry, get happy. If I'm only get kids, I'll be happy. You're lying to yourself because that is all, again, outside of you. It's all material world, and you're relying on somebody bring you happiness. You cannot make yourself happy. Nobody else can make you happy until you gonna connecting to source, higher power, universe, God, however you want to name it. And that's where you start to feel yourself in when you're connecting to the source, if that makes sense. Good question. What is your YouTube channel? My name and last name, Alisa Abdullaeva, my YouTube channel, and I highly recommend for you to watch whatever video that jumps at you, but especially the spiritual playlist, because then I have a long lectures and you can listen to whatever is calling you. Yeah. All right, let me see. I lost where I was. So let me get back. 1 second, my friends. Oh, so many people are asking about exes. Um, 1 second, my friends. How do I forget my ex? I got that. Oh, so many people asking, or it's the same person. But you got my answer. I just came from your videos and you are so knowledgeable. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. I agree. I think if they want you and we'll wait. Absolutely. Um okay, somebody's saying men are not honest. All right. We as a human beings judge others based on ourselves. If you felt that somebody was dishonest with you, you're now taking that past experiencing and dumping it in your future. And if you think one man lied, or maybe your father lied, or first love lied, or your ex-husband lied, now you're prejudging that everybody are the liars. No, my friends. The more you work on yourself, becoming humble, loving, feminine, kind, gentle, the more you're going to start attracting honest, kind, masculine, provider, and protector type of men. If you believe that all men are liars, you're going to be attracting all the liars. If you think men are all losers, you're going to be attracting all men who will be losers. If you think men are weak and feminine, you're going to be attracting all weak and feminine men. So that's why it's so critical to really work on ourselves. Somebody asked me another question. Hi, what is your advice for a job? I'm a lawyer, but it's tough. I'm also very spiritual. Can you please tell me if you're a woman or a man? Because this is very important. Because what I would suggest, if you're a woman, it's completely different if you are a man. And I'll get back to you. Ah, a woman. Okay. My friends, I actually, in my practice, 19 and a half years, I worked mainly actually with doctors, celebrities, producers, attorneys, surgeons, and high CEO and high manager type of people. And so I worked with a lot of attorneys, and especially who were women. Very stressful job, very demanding job. And so most of women that I worked who were surgeon, doctors, and producers and directors and uh, actresses and lawyers were very miserable in their relationship. So the success and money that you are making gonna be costing you relationship. Either they were single or they had a terrible relationship where their boyfriends and them were constantly battling. So at this point, what I would suggest to you, if you're an attorney, work part time. And if it's impossible in your practice and you're single, yes. And if you are single and if you cannot work part time in your practice, in your law firm, find a different law firm. Because I also heard that attorneys can become kind of a consultants. Yes, you'll be making less money, but you'll have your own hours. And so when you do that, you're sending the message my happiness is more important than a job and success and money. And the moment you do that, the mind shift starts shifting. And at some point, honestly, my friends, all of the attorneys and doctors and high up CEO type of women that I worked with were giving up their careers. The moment they start shifting to becoming an attorneys, becoming doctors, and actually they were more interested in becoming health coach, artists, because they were programmed by their parents to be successful, independent, because they were raised by a feminist mother, very success and goal oriented, and they became very miserable. And what it cost them is their relationship, or they were single. And so ideally, you want to fully shift away from your career, because it's a very masculine career. It's for men career. But at least for now, because you said you're spiritual, you can do it part time and then continue to cut. And as you're doing the spiritual journey, you're going to start understanding what is your calling, what is your purpose. Because in all of my spiritual videos, I talk about that we have four different purposes in our life. Either we're born as a teacher, either we're born as a warrior, and these are typically leaders, managers. Either we're born as a business people and we're responsible for economy, and these are Donald Trump, Walt Disney, who are really good with money. Or we're craftsmen, and the craftsmen is doctors, attorneys, but usually the craftsmen are men. These are singers, these are athletes. They're very good with their body, but they are not very good with their mind, meaning they studied, but they're helping others through being, again, nurses or doctors and etc. The more you understand what's your purpose and you follow that purpose, the more you're becoming happy. But again, for a woman, the number one duty and purpose is being a mother and a wife. So let me read what you said. Single, don't care about money, which is awesome. Thank you so much. I was thinking about coaching, and I was warrior, I guess, 2 degrees totally alone. Got you. So you already know that you want to be a coach, which is fabulous. And you can do the coaching part time and make a difference when it feels right for you. And when you do that, you're detaching from this masculine energy, being an attorney that doesn't really belong to a woman. And I hope that you already paid your crazy student loan probably, and you don't owe any money. But even if you don't owe money, detach. The more you're going to detach, the more you'll find the true happiness. Really good question. All right, so now let me get back to the questions on TikTok and continue. All right. What about trust issues in the relationship? Typically, people have trust issues in a relationship either because their parents somehow violated them when they were younger, or they had a previously, mm, either they've gone through betrayal or somebody cheated on them. And so this pain they're still carrying from the past. And so, when my friends, when I tell you, when you do the spiritual practices and when you do affirmation or meditation in the morning, what happens after a few months, you become so connected to a higher power, source or universe, however you want to feel comfortable, and you're starting to feel, oh, I feel in my back the pain. And the more you start diving inside of your back, you're starting to feel, oh, my father divorced my mom when I was 9 years old, hypothetically, and this pain is stuck in the back. And now this pain in your back is in the way for you to trust all men. And so now all men are now paying for your pain that you've gone through when your parents were divorcing, when you were age 9. And so then you continue to meditate or pray, and all of a sudden, a few weeks later, you're starting to feel your heart. Your heart is hurting, and you're diving inside of your heart, and you're starting to feel the sadness, the deep sadness and pain, because your first boyfriend cheated on you and betrayed you. And now, because of this pain, you're not trusting men. And so you cry, you grieve through that pain of your first boyfriend cheating on you and betraying on you. And as you cry and you grieve, you become free of it. And so that's why, my friends, it's so therapeutical and so healing when you do the either affirmation or meditation in the morning. I've done therapy on myself years ago before I started the therapy. But when I started the spiritual journey, I realized I've done a lot of therapy on my head, but my soul was still hurting. It was still hurting from the divorce of my parents. I was still hurting from my first, well, not first, the second boyfriend that cheated on me. And it was still in my soul and my heart. And I was able to grieve through it. So, what I'm telling you guys, it's not theoretical, it's practical that I've gone through myself. And so, all of it you will be able to grieve through and heal through morning affirmation or morning meditation. So start watching my spiritual lectures, and day by day, you're going to start programming yourself to how to find the path that is yours, because we're born and we deserve happiness, but because we're lacking the knowledge how to be happy, we're constantly just distracted. Music, movies, drama, toxic relatives and friends, and we're lost. We're so lost in life. So that's my recommendation. And let me see, there's another question that I probably missing from YouTube channeler. It's okay if your boyfriend asks you to pay your part for a trip. I don't have a loan. Okay. You're welcome. You're welcome, Kay. Is it okay for your boyfriend to pay for your part for a trip? No, it's not okay. No, it's not okay. But at the same time, maybe you chose a boyfriend who is, let's say, 25 years old, and let's say you're hypothetically 28 years old. Maybe you're already financially set, and he is just struggling in his job. And he thinks that it's okay to ask you to pay for a vacation, or let's say a rent or mortgage if you live together, and etc. But then you have a roommate. You don't have a man who provides and protects. But again, you cannot go back and say to your boyfriend, no, I would like for you to pay for my whole vacation, because you possibly attracted a feminine man. And why you attracted a feminine man who is probably is not financially secure, who maybe is not success or goal oriented, because you are masculine. And so when you're gonna become humble, gentle, kind, and feminine, he gonna start becoming more masculine. He gonna start making more money, and he will be able to afford to pay for your full vacation. And so work on yourself. My friends, you are all concentrated how you can change your wife or your boyfriend or your husband. And that's the wrong way of looking at the problem. You cannot change anybody. You can only change yourself. By changing you, I promise you, your partner gonna change. And if they're not changing, you guys gonna break up, and you're gonna attract someone who you deserve. So that's what I would like for you to start thinking about. Do not work on anybody. People who are stuck in a miserable relationship and want to change their husband or their boyfriend, they're neurotic. They're emotionally unhealthy, and that's why they're dumping all of their energy for him to marry me, for him to provide, for him to pay for mortgage, for him to get a job. My friends, you're wasting your time and your resources and all of your energy. Focus on yourself. Become a healthy, emotionally happy, blissful, feminine, and then you will see how your man start to change, how he gonna start to help. And if he want, then you will see somehow he gonna find somebody else, or you gonna find someone else, and the life gonna separate you for better. Honestly. Let me read another question. We have been married for a while, and it feels like we're starting to argue all the time. If you're gonna find my lecture called Six Stages How to Create a Lasting Relationship, I shared there that in relationship we get to the point, or in one of my lectures, maybe not that one, but I think I did talk about it in that lecture. We get to the point in our relationship where we hit the stage called disgust, where partner, husband and wife, boyfriend and girlfriend cannot stand each other. They hate each other. And so, especially during that stage, it's not the time to divorce or break up and start looking for someone better, or think about how horrible your partner is. No, every couple go through this. It's just 90% of the couples go through divorce or breakup at this point. So instead of breaking up and complaining that you argue or he's terrible or she's terrible, work on yourself and live by day, thinking about, okay, I'm just going to make it through one day at a time. One day at a time. My husband and I went through the stage in 2020. It was 4 months of misery. But I knew that we're in a discuss stage. I told him, like, just one day at a time. And in that stage, it's important not to put each other down and become nasty. Just understand it's a stage. Nothing wrong with you, nothing wrong with him. You just passing the exam. But I'll tell you good news. If you'll pass the stage, you're going to get in a stage in a relationship called bliss. That's when the true love starts to happen. Because when people meet each other, they're in a state of lust. They're thinking, oh my God, it's a honeymoon stage. He's the best person. But this is the stage a little bit on emotional level, but mainly on the lower chakras where you enjoy each other sexually. But if you pass this disgust stage, you feel bond on the emotional, physical, and spiritual level. I remember in January, after 4 months of this disgust stage, my husband and I woke up and I looked at him. I was like, oh my God, I'm so happy. We're done with the stage. And it felt heavenly good, where I felt connection with my husband on all three levels. So please just know it's a stage. Just survive one day at a time, one day at a time. Maybe less talking, less spending time together, but still know that he's a wonderful person and you're just in this really tough stage. All right, next question. Can you list some signs of a feminine man? Well, I bet this is a woman asking me. Of course, Karina. And you see how you're focusing. Something is wrong with him. Rather than asking me, what are the signs of a feminine man? I would like for you to ask, what are the signs of a masculine woman? And the sign of a masculine woman, that she's stubborn, she's argumentative, she knows it well, she wants to be dominant and know it all, she wants to dominate the relationship. She wants to be a decision maker. She is unappreciative. She's judgmental. And this kind of woman attracts a feminine man. So rather than thinking, what's wrong with my man that he's feminine? Please work on yourself. Become feminine. Become gentle. Become kind. Become humble. And then your man gonna start becoming masculine. Stop poking that something wrong with your boyfriend or your husband. If you're going to focus on yourself and you're going to start shifting, he will shift as well. I promise you. Do you have some practical advice to grow spiritually? All of the practical advices on my spiritual lectures, because most of my of you friends go on my TikTok and start asking me questions. How can I become feminine? Let's say I will tell you in 2 lines, or I will tell you right now in 2 minutes. Do you think it will make a difference? It will not. Your commitment on watching at least 20 to 30 minutes of me or some other spiritual guru that you're gravitating towards, it's going to start helping you. Because what happens when we listen to people who are spiritually advanced, you're not just listening to my theory right now, you're actually listening to part of my soul that I'm giving to you. And that is, my friends, are priceless, because you're starting to feel that what I'm saying makes sense. It comes in your head, then it starts to go to your soul chakra. And as you're listening in your soul chakra, you're starting to take it and feel like, it feels right. And then you're starting to move and making action. And when you're going to start taking and making action, your life going to start changing. Right now, you're just absorbing what I'm giving you. And so the more you're going to listen to me or other spiritual gurus for at least 20 to 30 minutes a day, and then meditating or doing affirmation, you're going to start seeing that you start to change internally, not here you're just getting the knowledge, but in soul, that's where you start to open up to the source. You start to gravitate towards meditating and doing the affirmation and getting the life, getting the happiness, getting the love, harmony, and peace from the source. So don't try to get the quick fix. Quickly, only cats give birth. Everything else takes time. The the source that I'm giving you right now, the knowledge, it took me, I'm kidding you not, 22 years. You don't need to go through 22 years of figuring out how to be happy. I'm giving you the shortcut, but you still gotta do the action. Yes, good question. Speak on toxic masculinity and femininity, please. That's all I'm doing, my friend. Talking about masculinity and femininity, if you've been around. Yes. Why women should live in man-centered life. Why women should live in man-centered life. I don't understand this question, my friend. Can you please give me a little bit more on clarifying what do you mean by it? What feminine activity can I keep busy? Well, I think what you're asking, what can you do? What kind of feminine activity can you do to become probably feminine? My friends, if you see the mandalas in my background, I'll show you. When I have time, I draw. I read spiritual books and I draw mandalas. Mandalas are helping us to create the balance between our conscious and subconscious mind, our right and left side of our brain, the logical part and creative part. This is one way. When you listen to spiritual lectures, when you go in nature, when you walk, when you meditate, but not in the gym, outside, sitting on the creek, sitting on the lake, really absorbing the energy. But best thing in the nature to walk, run or to walk, but sometimes slow down and meditate. That's the best feminine activity you can do to start really feeling yourself with femininity. And obviously being friends with feminine women. Yeah, but a lot of world is now hungry for feminine women. You go outside and you see women who are working, women who are going out, they're all masculine. They talk about masculine stuff. They talk about money, success, career, cars, homes, all of the masculine topics. Feminine women don't talk about it. Feminine women get together, they draw, they paint, they meditate, they talk about kids, they talk about wonderful things about husband. They're not complaining. So just to give you a little bit of hint. You talk about not overfeeding your man. I left the life last time. Can you speak about it in intimacy? I don't understand your question, honey. I get that English is not your first language. It's not my first language as well. But I'm not clear. What do you mean not overfeeding your man? Do you mean sexually? Can you clarify it? So I guess I am getting it right. It's not overfeeding, my friend. It's, you see, if we're talking about intimacy, if I'm understanding your question right, you cannot give too much sex. You cannot give too little sex to men. It's like when you go to the restaurant, let's say that this is your stomach. If you're gonna eat this much, you overfed your stomach and you're gonna be overweight. If you gave this much, that means you underfed your stomach. You're still hungry. You gotta give a man this much intimacy, but a little bit of room of emptiness, so he desires you more. So this is how you gotta think about sexual intimacy. If you overfeed him, it's like you're like too much of you. It's too much. If you underfeed him, he'll feel like, okay, I need more, and he start looking outside. So you gotta give sexual intimacy if you're married, but leave a little bit of room so he desires you more. If that's what you're asking me. But with regards, if you're just a girlfriend and you're having sex, you're giving the duty, you're doing the duty of a wife. Until you get a ring, you should not have sex. You should not do the laundry. You should not cook for your man. This is all duties of a wife. So please think about it. I have been with my partner for 3 years and he struggles with alcoholism and has been in and out of it. Are you married to him? This is Banana Manzana 780. Because if you're just dating him, you are taking on his difficult destiny, because if a person has serious alcohol issue, you're going to be struggling with him and your future kids will be struggling with him. A woman will date a man who has alcohol issues only if she has a low self-esteem. If a woman has a high self-esteem, she's not going to be dating a man who is drug addict or has alcohol issues. So please think about it. And if you're not married to him, do you want to really be married to a person who has the serious alcohol issue? Now, if you fully committed that yes, you want to marry to him and you want to take on his karma and his destiny, then you should pray. Meditation and affirmation might not be enough, because when we pray, because he's your boyfriend, your destinies are already connected like that. By praying, you're not just going to be helping yourself, you're going to be also helping your boyfriend. But I, on your place, would move on. But again, if you decided that you want to be with him, start helping him, and not by telling him go to AA meetings, which he should, but it's not your job because he will be more resistant to it. But rather pray, and not praying for him, because if you're gonna watch my spiritual videos, I tell you how can you have a really strongest relationship to a higher power, and how you can actually do the praying correctly. So please watch my spiritual videos, and and you will have your answers there. And please be on my program. That's going to help you tremendously. When people are dating people with drugs addiction and alcohol addiction, it's really painful for you and your entire future family or current family. Should we tell him our true feelings about him when the time is right? Let me see if you have other questions prior to that, because I think it's connected to something else. Give me 1 second, my friends. So you ask, rehab, should I leave him? And I answered that question. I didn't read that prior to that. All right. Should we tell him our true feelings about him when the time is right? What you asking is, should you tell him that you love him? In my opinion, a woman should not be saying, I love you to a man first. A woman in a dating process gotta do 10%, and a man should do 90. A masculine man chasing a masculine man buys her flowers. A masculine man takes you to a restaurant, pays for your dinner. A masculine man takes you to a vacation, pays for it. A masculine man asks you, what are you dealing with? You say, I have a flat tire. He fixes it. And you, when you have a healthy self-esteem and you're confident, and not confident that you're pretending that you're confident, but you're truly feminine and you're confident, you just gotta accept him. But if you feel by him fixing your tires or paying for your dinner that you owe him a sex, you are insecure. You don't owe him anything. Man does it to feel good about himself by taking you out. He's practicing his masculinity. He's practicing in conquering you and feeling like a man because he's attracted to you. Means you're either beautiful, you're either sexy, or you're feminine. Something about you gravitates him. And so you gotta gently accept that. But if you feel like if he fixes your tire and it was $200 and it's too much and you feel like you owe him sex, you can even ask him, I am sorry, but do you mind if I'll ask you? Do you expect me to sleep with you because you're fixing my tire? Because we're not at the stage where I feel like we are ready for sexual intimacy. And if a man says, yes, I really hope you're going to sleep with me, it's time. Then you say, you know what? It's okay. I can fix my tire myself. So, ladies, work on your confidence so you don't feel like you owe him sex for him to do something for you. And if you feel that you do, you gotta really start detaching and slowing down, accepting less. But again, healthy and confident woman not gonna feel like she owes him sex for doing something for her. Yeah. And same thing with love. Do not rush. A man, when he tells you that he loves you, then you can also tell him, I feel feelings for you too. I love you. But don't rush. Don't be first. Um, you are one of my favorites, Alisa. Thank you. I appreciate that. Can you discuss overfeeding your man in marriage in regards to intimacy? I answered that. I hope you got it. The attorney question was hot. Thank you. Thank you, my friends. How do I become more feminine so my husband will be masculine? I shared that already on previously a few minutes ago, but I will post this videos. I'll chop them and edit them, and it will take me probably a few weeks, but you'll get that answer sooner or later. Work on your femininity through spirituality. Start watching my spiritual videos on my YouTube channel, Alisa Abdullaeva, and you're gonna become feminine. The more you're gonna become feminine, the more he will become masculine. It's like slowly transaction. You are starting to come from masculinity to femininity. As you're going down to femininity, you're gonna start coming to masculinity, because masculine and masculine doesn't work. Feminine and feminine doesn't work. And so, in order for a woman to make her husband or boyfriend masculine, she needs to come down to femininity. Yeah, yeah, my friends. Let me see. How can I make my fiance make accountable? I'm tired of his bad words and saying sorry after. Yeah, my friends. There's three layers which I shared in one of my previous videos. When people live in a state of ignorance, they curse. They curse, they listen to rap and hip hop with bad words, they watch movies with killing and a lot of sex and prostitution. And by the way, everything we listen, everything we watch, we become that. So that's why when I come home, I say to my husband, he knows as I'm driving home from being with our son in the park somewhere, I say, honey, I know you listen to trance. Boom, 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 boom. I cool music for my husband, but I come home and we have a zen type of music, spiritual kind of music, very relaxing. So my energy, femininity is there. Boom, 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 trance or hip hop is not welcome in our home. So when you become feminine, you're gonna start influencing your man, and you're not gonna pressure him. Stop cursing, stop watching this terrorist types of movie, stop listening to a hip hop with bad words. No, you're gonna be so gentle and feminine, and men love feminine women. They love their energy, they love their aura, that they'll be happy. My husband, as soon as I enter the room, he stopped watching all of this TV series like Yellowstone with Puch Pach Boom Bam. He just turns it off. He knows I am in the house. We listen to spiritual music. We have relaxing jazz, or we have something Zen playing. So, my friends, the more you work on yourself, the more your husband will be happy to follow what you want. The power is not fixing them, the power is changing ourselves inside. Good question. So the back can hurt because of that. So the back can hurt. Yes, somebody was asking me. Everything in our body, for example, people sometimes have a colon problem. They have a stomach problem because they have unresolved anger, because they haven't forgiven either their parents or their first love. And so it's a pain and anger together. When people have a lot of migraine headaches, it's because they analyze, and their defense mechanism is analysis and intelligence. And so they constantly have a headache. People who have constantly sore throats and colds, ear, throat, and nose, is because they're scared to communicate honestly. For example, their husband is violating them all the time, or a girlfriend violating them, and they're afraid to say, what you're doing is hurting me. What you're doing is unacceptable. It doesn't work for me. Please stop drinking, or please stop watching scary movies or horror movies or whatever that is not working. So everything in our body that hurts, it's actually psycho psychosomatic. That means somewhere we have pains that we have not resolved. So when you do the meditation or affirmations or the prayer, you resolve them also in our body. Our body is connected to our mind and our soul. So really good question. Yes. Where do you come from? Well, I lived in so many countries, but I'm originally from Azerbaijan, Baku, which is very close to Russia. And a 37-year-old man who asked 50-50. When a man asks you 50-50, he's already brainwashed by this equality and feminism that we women decided to bring. I actually think somebody is doing it behind us, but we bought into it that yes, it's good for us, the equality and feminism. What's good about it, honestly? Working women 40 hours, 60 hours a week, driving in traffic and dumping our kids in daycare or summer camps. What's good about it? Let's be honest, nothing is good about it. I can't remember the name of the movie. I think G.I. Jane, where Demi Moore was decided that she's gonna go in the army and she's gonna be like a tough soldier. What's good about it, my friends? There's nothing attractive about woman being in the army, being police officer, being a firefighter, and her kids suffering in school or daycare or somewhere else. So that's why men are now, oh, you want equality, 50-50. We taught them that. And so now it's our responsibility become feminine. So so they will stop being feminine and become masculine, because again, do remember I explained, if a woman becomes masculine, men become feminine. You want a masculine man, become a feminine, and he will become masculine. And we cannot do it in a society altogether, because the brainwashing that a woman has to be masculine and feminist and seek equality, by the way, in all the movies you see, it's about reprogramming your brain that this is okay. We gotta take it personally and work in our relationship and start undoing the damage. The damage is very high, and our relationship with men are not working. And divorce all over the world are going outrageously high because of this feminism. It's not working for women. It's not working for men. We gotta detach from that lie that somebody is brainwashing us and programming us that it's good for women or it's good for men. It's not good for kids. It's not not good for women, it's not good for us, my friends. Yeah. How about a man who think it's draining to always provide for dates? Honey, you're asking me the same questions. You gotta let go of that. That something is wrong for a man, that he doesn't want to pay, he doesn't want to provide. You will attract a man who will pay for you, who will protect you if you will become a feminine woman. Only masculine women who feel like they're entitled that a man pays for them, who actually works and attached to some kind of success or goal oriented idea, attract this kind of feminine woman, a man. The more you work on yourself, becoming a better, gentle, kinder, and humble, the more you're going to start attracting a masculine, emotionally healthy man. So please think about it. What do you do when a man doesn't want to provide for his family because he knows his wife will? I go over this question every time, and somebody always asks me a question. The moment you're gonna detach from work, the moment you're gonna stop making money, your man gonna start making money. There's no other way. The moment he knows that you will still pay for bills, you're gonna pay for mortgage, you're gonna pay for the car, he is not motivated to provide. Men not gonna provide to a masculine, goal-oriented, work-oriented, who makes money woman. It never works. So, oh, I get so many phone calls, so distracting. So please, when you work on yourself, you commit on working on yourself, changing yourself, I promise you, your man gonna start changing as well. It's like he's reflecting you. If you see that your life with a partner is miserable, it's because you are in a miserable situation yourself. You're gonna attract what you are inside. No matter how much you think you're wonderful, you're sexy, you're beautiful, you deserve a provider and protector, you get what you deserve. Work on yourself, change yourself, and your man will change. Or if you're single, you're gonna attract a good man. They're out there, but you're not attracting them because you're not working on yourself. You're just lazy. I'm sorry to say that, ladies, but yes, we want magically something for it to happen. We keep dating and dating and dating. We're dating a same feminine lazy man. Either he's cheated or he's liar or he doesn't provide or he doesn't protect. The same person. Until you gonna really change yourself, nothing will change. How to become more feminine? Answered that earlier, so please look for it later in my editing, and I will be posting it. And let me see what's going on here on YouTube Live. Long time no see. Hello. Best advice for self-esteem. All right, so somebody is asking for self-esteem. uh, Friends who are seriously dealing with low self-esteem, please watch my video on a YouTube channel where I broke down a full lecture into many different parts, but you will see a playlist about self-esteem. But now I'm gonna go over three types of self-esteem very quickly. So there's a low self-esteem, people who are constantly pleasing others. They don't want to go to work, but because their husband is not working, like, okay, I'm gonna go to work to make him happy. And you work and you're stressed and you're exhausted and you're miserable and you're pleasing constantly others. You don't really have your own core and you're not communicating what makes you happy. Then there's people who are like tyrants, who pretend that they have self-esteem, but they have a facade of a self-esteem. So for example, there is a glass of water in on the table, and there's five people and everybody wants to drink, and there's only one glass of water, and so this person with facade of self-esteem goes and drinks it fully and then says, oh, you guys wanted to drink too. They basically don't care about you. They do everything they want for themselves, and they crush everybody. I had a client many years ago who hated his wife. They were going through divorce. They had a home that was $500,000. Back then, it was a lot of money, 15 years ago. So he sold his house for only 50 cents. So he will give his wife 25 cents here, 25 cents your share. So these people have a lot of anger issues and they feel like they're entitled and they have a facade of a self-esteem that they're all healthy. A lot of celebrities deal with that. They think that they're the best in the world. Now, and there's also people who have healthy self esteem. And the healthy self esteem is like you have the glass of water on the table, five people are sitting, and everybody's thirsty. And the person asks, I see you guys, everybody is thirsty. So let me have three sips. You have three sips, you have three sips, and every person on the table will get three sips of water. And so I want you to start thinking not about facade of self-esteem, not low self-esteem where you're pleasing everybody, but healthy self-esteem where you consider what's good for your wife, what's good for you husband, what's good for your kids, what's good for you, what's good for your boss, and what's good for you, what's good for your employees, and what's good for you, what's good for your friends and you, where everybody wins. Person with a healthy self-esteem is person who has an attitude in life that they're student and they're constantly learning. Oh, I've done that. I guess I was wrong. Let me think about how I can make it better. They don't have the entitlement that, yes, I am right. And they don't have an attitude like, oh, I don't know anything. Please save me. So that's the truly healthy self esteem. So I hope I answered that question. But if you're going to fully listen to that lecture, it's going to help you tremendously because it's a lecture, I think, hour and a half or 2 hour long, where I go over in more details. Good question. So let's go over. Mm, When I feel intimidated by a man's energy, I become masculine. My friends, right now, I'll be honest with you, I'm using a masculine energy because there's a lot of you, and I have to turn on my logical brain to answer your questions and to get into the part of my brain where I have all the knowledge. But it's okay. When we turn on sometimes our masculine energy as a woman, but when we use our masculine energy all the time, it's very unhealthy. Around my husband, around my friends, girlfriends, our son, oh, obviously I'm feminine. But the moment I go outside, for example, in the store Whole Foods, and a masculine woman talks to me with an attitude, it's hard to stay feminine. It's hard because the world is very masculine. And so, right now, it's good that you're aware that sometimes you turn into your masculine energy. But can you be feminine with your boyfriend or your husband or your kids or your girlfriends? That is the question where you got to start shifting and learning how you can manage. Because if you turn on masculine energy for an hour or two at work, it's one thing. But if you are in a masculine energy all the time, it's hurting you and everybody around you. So please think of that. When you're in your feminine energy, it feels like someone else is always driving. Let me think about that. Yeah, for example, when I start shifting to feminine energy, it's funny, but I became skittish to drive. I feel very protective when my husband is behind the wheel and he's driving, and I'm now don't even drive on the highway because even driving on the highway, I have to shift of masculine energy, and it doesn't feel comfortable. I don't like it. So my husband is behind the wheel. It feels wonderful because he is in an energy where he protects me, protects our family, and it feels wonderful. There's nothing wrong with that. When a man can really take decision for you, when he can provide and make serious changes or decisions when it comes to a family. And so there's nothing wrong with that, my friends. Don't look at it, it's something is wrong. It's a feminine energy, it's a very vulnerable energy. And when you're with the healthy man, you can be vulnerable and you can allow him to make decisions for you, for your family, and you also in tune what's right and what's wrong, and you have the power to influence him. Yeah. I think they mean when you only listen to your man centered. Um, I see. I see. Thank you for correcting that with regards to that earlier question. Yeah, in some women have a hard time with what I am really teaching, is because it's a very there's a hierarchy where on the top there's God, Then, obviously, after God, there's Guru that I listen to and I talk to because I want to make sure that I'm on the right path. Then there's a husband, and then there's me, and then there's kids and cats and dogs. And so, before I make any kind of decisions, I consult with my husband. Yes, in our family, it's husband centered, but in a way, it's more God centered. I'm always in a spiritual energy where I'm kind of in tune what's right and what's wrong. And I feel that I have a lot of power where I can influence my husband, but not in the wrong way, in a healthy way. If I see he's lost, I will talk to him in a such a way where he realizes, okay, maybe that's not the best decision. But 99% of the time, I'm fully trusting my husband and I um, follow his leadership. Absolutely, yeah. Kitchen also increases feminine energy. Yes, yes, thank you. Kitchen, absolutely. And by the way, when we cook, women, we can just cook for the sake of it, or we can buy food in a box and microwave it, which is not a food, in my opinion. When we cook, when we are cooking, we can also do meditation or prayer, and then that love that you're putting in the food, everybody fits it off because we are what we listen, what we watch, and what we eat. So, absolutely, very feminine energy cooking. I agree with you 1000%. Our roles have changed because I work more than him, but I'm not attracted to him anymore. Yes, what happens psychologically? When a woman shifts to masculine energy and starts to work, the more she becomes masculine, the more men become feminine, and then she looks at him. He's a loser. He's not making money. And that is the biggest danger. When a woman thinks that her money and her success can make her more confident and more happier. Yes, she's going to make more money and she'll become more successful. But in Ayurveda and in spiritual Ayurveda, all sacred books says that's how a woman degrades because she loses all her feminine power. And our women's power in an power to see the future of our family and our husband and ourselves and our influence because we can influence kids, we can influence our husband, and that's where our true power is. But when we shift to masculinity, we become depressed, we become anxious, we become stressed, we become exhausted, and that's when we start to deteriorate physiologically and psychologically. And then, by the way, all the money you're gonna make, no matter how much millions you're gonna make or hundred thousands of dollars, you're gonna be spending that on doctors and psychologists. So you cannot outlie your life and think that yes, I'm going to make money and it's going to be my money. No, you will eventually lose all this money in the hospitals and doctors. So please think about that. Alisa, talk a lot about this. It's really helped in my relationship. Thank you. I'm not attracted to him. He is not masculine and he used to when we first got together. Okay, yeah. Attraction changes with this masculine and feminine energy. And so we women have to be responsible in how we are being, what aura we have around us. Because some woman today posted, I'm masculine, and if a man doesn't like my masculine energy, he can go to hell. I don't need him. Yeah, with this attitude, you're gonna be successful, you're gonna have money, but you're not gonna be happy in the marriage, you're not gonna be happy in the relationship, and your health and your relationship will struggle. You will be either single or with a feminine man. If you have this attitude, sure, it's a choice. That's fine. We think we can fix them, but we can't. Somebody said, yes, very true. Okay, let me see. I lost you guys again. Give me 1 second. While I'm looking, let me see what's YouTube are saying. Can a woman be feminine and ambitious and in wanting to do something for feeling to stimulate her intellects outside of her family? For example, my friends, I am feminine, but I am not just a housewife and a mother. I have my purpose, and I always thought that I am just a psychologist and I can heal people. But I realized as I start studying spirituality that my main purpose is a teacher. And so this is what I'm doing, teaching you spiritual knowledge, psychological knowledge. And by doing that, I am fulfilled and happy. And I'm sure some of you are benefiting. And so we have to know the spiritual knowledge in order to follow our true purpose. But again, I am doing it after I took care of my husband and our son, and now I have free time and I join you and I'm sharing my knowledge. I'm not taking away anything from my family because for a woman, number one priority and duty is to be wife and to be a mother. If you cannot have kids, you can adopt them or at least be a really best wife and serve a community. But we as a human beings, we just always want, we're always self-centered. We're like, I want happiness. I want people to get me something. I want a good job. I want a good husband. I want this and this and that. And we're all just want its sake. But the moment we detach from ourselves and we start to serve, whether it's husband, whether it's kids, whether it's community, that's when our true happiness kicks in. But we're too stuck in the victimness of how miserable we are. And we got to get away from that because in that, you will never be happy. We got to start serving also others. And how you can serve others, the more you become happy, the more people you can serve. I can serve you now, 60,000 people on TikTok, 2,000 people on YouTube or something. It's because I'm full. I can give love not just to my family and friends, but to you guys. And so that's why you got to work on yourself becoming full. It's so important. That's where the happiness is, and then not just give, 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 and take, take, take. So let me go back to TikTok and connect where I was. Um, okay, 1 second, my friends. Hey, do you do private consultation? No, my friends. Get asked that at least 2, 3 times a week, and my work is still connected to my cell phone, so I get so many phone calls. I need to detach from that, by the way. But no, I don't take private sessions. And for those who were interested, my private sessions were $1,250. Most of you would not probably able to even afford that. So rather than having a private session with me, which I don't do anymore, listen to my lectures. And you're going to start, if you're going to start doing the practices that I'm teaching you, you're going to get results. Honestly, my friends, you don't need to spend money on therapists if you're going to do what I'm telling you. Connect to the source. That's where you can fulfill yourself and become happy. Husband wants to live us together with his family. Husband want to live us together with his family. I don't get this question. Live. He wants to live with you, or he wants to leave? Excuse me, my friends. Probably English. Again, like mine. I make a type of mistakes. What you mean that your husband wants to leave, go away from you, and don't live together with you anymore? Can you please say yes? If that's yes, I will answer that question. Otherwise, I'm not fully certain. You're a very beautiful woman and must admit that I sincerely want to get to know you very well. Thank you, Tony. I appreciate that. I'm married though. I don't get to know men. My husband would not like it, and I don't do that either. But I appreciate your compliment. And I am sure that if you're attracted to me, you're going to start gravitating towards feminine women. And this community, I'm sure, going to start transforming, and you're going to start attracting feminine women into your life. Thank you so much for all your time and advice. May God bless you. Thank you. All right, my friends. What should I do if my husband doesn't want me to work, but we can't pay our bills? You see, you're dealing with fear. You're dealing with fear and trust. Last year in June, when I fully stopped working and I was making a good money, my husband, the moment I detached from working, he started making double. 3 months later, he started getting even more bonuses. And at this point, a few months ago, he started making what I used to make and him together. That's the way the universe works. The universe provides to a man who has dependent. If he has one dependent, he gets to a dependent, let's say hypothetically $40,000, if that's his karma. If he gets two dependents, now he makes $80,000, 40 for one, 40 for one. Because with each dependent, universe provides to a man who is a provider and protector. But when women are very logical, they don't understand, if I'm gonna quit job, my man won't be able to survive and do it. That's why when you do the meditation, you are sending all of the power to him to start succeeding in life. That's why it's so important for women to be feminine and helping men spiritually like that, instead of helping him financially, because then you're sending a message, you're a loser, I don't believe you're gonna be able to provide to me yourself and kids, you're sending the message that yes, you can succeed. This is the best thing you can do to a husband instead of giving him money. Please think about that. Husband wants to leave us with his family. I don't like it. He thinks I'm trying to break his family. Okay, I see what you mean. Um, I'm not again sure what exactly you're dealing with, but if your husband thinks that you're trying to break his family, that means again you're dealing something with the trust. Obviously, you're not sharing what kind of damage you probably made in a family that he doesn't trust you, and we cannot go into this detail. And I cannot really read your mind because I don't understand fully what you guys are dealing with. And so when a husband and wife is dealing with mistrust, again, breakdowns, when something is not going well, most likely, like I shared earlier, you probably in a disgust stage. In a disgust stage of the relationship, husband and wife don't trust each other. They think that you want the worst for him, and he thinks you want the worst for him. And so there's a lot of tension, a lot of pain, possibly even hate, definitely no trust. And so if you're going to start doing the meditation, like I'm asking you, or affirmations in the morning, you're going to start overcoming that, and you are connecting with him spiritually, you're going to start influencing him to stop thinking that you wanted to hurt your or his family. So just detach from the idea trying to logically solve this problem. There's no logical or conversation where you can sit down and prove him no, that's not what you're trying to do. It's pointless. Spiritually, when you do the work, it works on energetic level, on the spiritual, emotion, and physiological level, and that's where there's power. When people go to therapy, they just um, do the work on 30% on the mind. When people go to the gym, they do the work only on the physical body, which is 20%. But when we're talking about spirituality, you do the work of your soul, which is another 50%. It's much deeper and more important than logic and body. So we need to focus on everything. So if you do the meditation, then you're going to address the root cause of the problem, why you guys have these trust issues in the first place. How do you find feminine healthy friendships? I have been backstabbed by masculine and toxic women. Like I said, until you're going to become feminine, you will not attract a feminine woman. Now, because I'm doing the spiritual work, I'm teaching now all women in my community spirituality. Guess what? As I'm growing, they are growing. And our friendships becomes more and more authentic, more and more kinder, more and more genuine. And so you cannot attract feminine woman until you become a feminine woman. When I see masculine woman, I run. I run. It's not attractive to me. And so that's why I gravitate towards women who are very spiritual, who have faith in God, who have faith in spirituality, who are working on themselves. I will never attract a woman who is toxic or masculine into my circle of friends, because one apple can quickly ruin the rest of the apples. So please think about that. Work on yourself. Love your top. Thank you. It's a dress. I felt you are as it is. Thank you. Yes. Is being a nurse a feminine job? I work part time. My friends, being a nurse, it's a wonderful job on one side because you are serving others. But let's be honest. How many nurses have a normal hours? Zero. How many nurses come home emotionally happy and healthy? Zero. Because you go to the hospitals and you serve people who are sick, who are ill, mentally and physically depressed, and you gotta carry them here, you gotta carry them there. The whole hospital, whole industry of medical industry is very toxic. It's very unhealthy. So no, do not lie to yourself that this job is feminine or that job is feminine. I even look at the teachers who have in the class 20 or 30 kids. Teaching, it's very fulfilling, but the way the educational system is, it's also very toxic. And so woman is not designed to work full time. Start detaching from working full time, and then eventually, as you're doing the practical spiritual practices, you're going to start understanding, do you even want to work full time? And if you have a husband, why do you work? Ladies, why? Really, I am working right now, but it's an illusion, because right now I'm just giving my contribution and knowledge to you. I feel fulfilled and high, and you get knowledge, and I don't need money. I'm just sharing my knowledge. If I have a husband, I have a protection, why do I need the money for? And so start having the attitude like that. You don't need money. You want to preserve this love and happiness that you as a woman have to your family, to your kids and your husband and yourself. Don't give it away for 60,000 a year or 70 or 80 or 50,000 a year. No one will give you, you will give that love away, but no one will give it back to you. So please think about that. All right, next question. How do you deal with manipulative person that is with my son's father? My son's, let me think. I'm translating it to my language. My son's father. Okay, so your ex-husband has a friend who is manipulative. Again, how are you planning to change a person? You have no power to control a manipulative person that is not even in your environment, but in an environment of your husband or ex-husband. Probably your husband, right? So, no, rather than concentrating on dealing with them, manipulative people, toxic people out there, no, get back to yourself. People are trying to figure out how to change others, how to control others, how to change others, how to detach them from other people. That's a lot of waste of energy, my friends. A lot of resources that you're and thoughts to control other people. That's exhausting. No, my friend. Work on yourself. And when I meet people who are trying to gravitate towards me and they're draining me, when I start meditation or a prayer, I wish them happiness. When I wish somebody happiness, they energetically start to detach from me, because a lot of people trying to take my resources that belongs again to my family, my husband and my son. And so I'm very cautious. Who am I attracting to my life? That's why when people go to my TikTok channel or YouTube channel and start cursing or giving advices or use curse language, I just delete. And if I see they continue doing that, I block them, because I'm fully responsible that I don't want even on my TikTok channel toxicity. If people are not willing to change, if they think they're feminist and feminism is good, then go find feminist speakers. I don't want toxicity in my life. And so you got to be very responsible about yourself, but don't try to change somebody. It's a waste of time. Yeah. You're responsible for yourself and your health. How much should my husband play video games before it's unhealthy? See, for every man, men have to unwind from work. Some men come home, they gotta drink a couple of beers. My husband comes home from work. When I feed him, he wants to watch a soccer. We watch, no, he watches European soccer, Russian soccer, Brazilian soccer, this soccer, that. Every man has their own things. For some, it's a video game. To some people, it's smoking. None of it is good, but at some point, you got to realize that he needs to unwind. Ideally, the healthiest way is for men to have a spiritual guru or a mentor or a coach or a therapist, because what kids do, my son comes home, our son comes home from school, typically, he dumps all of his emotions and stress to me. Guess who I'm dumping my stress? I go to my husband and I share my stress and I give it to him. And men have a struggle. They have nobody to go to. And so they are typically either drinking or playing video games, and all of the stress from work by doing video games or doing watching a lot of TV shows, they're decompressing. And so if your man just plays 30 or 45 minutes video games, okay, let him do it. But obviously, when he does it a couple of hours a day, that's too much. And that's why you got to have an influence to help him to start seeking either mentor or spiritual guru or someone that he can go to and release his stress and become clear. So, with that, friends, my friends, one second, I gotta close the door. My family's back. And I will stay with you a few more minutes, and then I'm gonna go feed my husband and hungry son. So I hope that helps. Let me see. Do you also have a lecture for confidence? Somebody is asking on YouTube. Yes, my friends, find the lectures where I talk about low self esteem, healthy self esteem on my YouTube channels. I just broke that full lecture into many parts, but it's a 2 hour lecture. All right. I will take three more questions and then, my friends, I'm gonna leave. But it was such a pleasure being with you. My husband works part time and has a hard time getting enough money or completing projects. Mm, we on our third kid in 3 years. I'm so overwhelmed. He doesn't even have driving license still. Yes, this is your karma. This is your lesson in life, and you're struggling passing it. But you see, a woman typically feels like if my man doesn't have a license, if he doesn't make enough money, that means I have to go to work and help him financially. No, you're sending the message that he won't be able to overcome the struggle. When you are doing the work on yourself and start either meditating or prayer, I'm probably going to say that 100 times, you're sending your confidence, your trust into him, and that's how he's gonna start becoming more and more masculine, and he will overcome that challenge. Stop complaining in your head and to him that something is wrong. Trust your man, and how you can trust your man is by connecting to the source. When you connect into the source, everything starts to come in harmony. You're starting to believe that you're going to overcome any challenges, and we will always go through some kind of challenges in life. Yeah. All right. Let me find a few more questions. Do you do about a guy that engaged and always liking girls' pictures on the social media? So, are you engaged to a guy who is liking other girls on social media? Uh, well, you're already telling that he's already sending you a message mm, that he's attracted to other women. The respect is not there. And typically, men who do that were not really taught by their parents how to respect a woman. His father did that, or he did not even have a father figure, who were looking at other women and he was disrespecting his mother. And so now he does the same thing. And that's why a mother, when she is gentle and feminine, by treating her husband with love and care and appreciation, she sends a message to her son how to have a healthy marriage. And so this is already a problem. You want to really talk to him. It hurts my feelings that you're looking at other girls and liking them. Will you be able to change him? No. If he respects you, he will stop doing that. But if he continues, you want to ask yourself, do you want to be with a man who already disrespects you and you guys are already engaged? Not a good sign. No. I have a lot of debt previous relationship, and my student loans. Should still I quit my job and expect my husband to be able to pay all of that on his own? That's a good question. My friends, you can never have expectations from a man. If you're expecting somebody to pay your student loans, um, men gonna have resistance to it. I never had expectation that my husband gonna pay for my student loans, even though I had only 10% left into paying my student loans. But I never had that expectation. The more you are gentle and kind and feminine, a man would want to take responsibility and protection over you. But if you're expecting him to do that, you will push that away. So rather than expecting, if you're working right now, continue slowly paying it off. Do not have expectations. But if you're, again, working on conquering your destiny, your challenges, you will attract a masculine man. And if you're attracting a masculine man, he will be happy to help you to do that. But you gotta let go of the expectations. He doesn't owe you anything. But if you deserve, if you're a good woman, any man would want to do that. Yeah. What kind of food do I cook? I'm vegan, my friends. So I cook for myself vegan food and to our son vegan food. But to my husband, he likes meat. And so I pray when I cook meat because I don't believe that we as a human beings should eat meat because we are hurting an animal soul and they're living creatures. So yeah, I still eat a little bit of fish, but I want to get to the point where I'm going to stop eating fish as well, probably very soon. So with that, friends, my friends, it was such a pleasure. It was such a delight to be with you. I apologize that I didn't get to some of your questions. Um, and I look forward to have another session with you probably soon. I will try either this Friday or Thursday evening so we can have another session, live session, where I'll be happy to share more of my knowledge and answer your questions. If this been a help to you, uh, my soul will be fulfilled and happy because I feel connection with you as much as you feel connection with me. So I want to thank you for following, for liking, for listening to my knowledge. And I wish you all happiness. Continue to working on yourself. And please know, anything that you're going through right now in life, you will be able to overcome. Have trust. Don't be concentrating that in your stuckness right now, in your lust or depression or anxiety or breakdown. Anything is possible, but please detach that someone gonna fix you. Only rely on our source, on a higher power, on God Himself, because that's where you can heal anything and overcome any challenges. My friends, with that said, I love you. I appreciate you. Namaste. Thank you for being with me. I wish you happiness. If you want to share anything, what you got out of the session today for a few minutes, you can. Otherwise, I will see you in a few days. um, or maybe you can share what you're taking out of session today, because if you're going to take action in what I've been sharing with you, maybe you're going to start meditating or doing the affirmations, maybe for 5 or 10 minutes. By declaring it with so many people, you're committing yourself that you are starting a spiritual journey, that you're healing, that you want happiness, and you all deserve happiness. We're born with this happiness, with the desire to be happy, and we deserve it. But we gotta earn it, and we gotta do the work. Yes, my friends. So let me see if you wanna acknowledge anything or share anything, and then a few minutes I'm committing. Wonderful. Wonderful. Anybody else? Because when you're declaring, maybe in a few days something will change, but when you're declaring, you're committing yourself in being responsible for yourself and your life. Anybody else? Anybody else? Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Maybe you're just committing to 5 minutes of meditation or 5 minutes of affirmations. You got to start taking a baby steps, because people want a drastic change, but never drastic changes happens. It happens with baby steps. Baby steps is like one drop of water each time, one drop of water, and then the glass becomes full. But the glass will never become full in one day. It will take months, but then this months gonna come really fast. There's a hope in what I'm telling you to do. Otherwise, if you're living the life the way you are, there's hopelessness and nothing gonna change. And so with that said, my friends, again, thank you. And I look forward to seeing you in 5 days. I'm committing right now. Fabulous. Yes. Anybody else? Anybody else? YouTube. 6 people are on YouTube. Anybody wants to commit in doing affirmations or meditation or a prayer? And please, my friends, remember to visit my YouTube live, not YouTube, YouTube channel. The only reason why I'm asking you is because you have long lectures. It's not just 3 minutes. It's hour and a half. It's 2 hours. It's 2 hours and a half. And that's when you can fully start reprogramming your mind, your soul, and your body in conquering your destiny. So, thank you, my friends. It's been a pleasure. It's been a delight. I wish you all happiness. Namaste. And I will see you in a few days. Bye. Bye from Atlanta, Georgia. And bye to all of the amazing countries that I've seen on TikTok. And I'm sure on YouTube Live as well. Bye, friends.